It's FPL time. Kay Murray and Mark Donaldson are here with you to look ahead, actually ahead more than we have done before on one of these hits. And I feel as though Mark has a bit more insight because you're in London right now, Mark. So you've been really keeping a close eye on the Premier League than usual.
Yeah, I bought a house. This is my front room behind you. It's not quite, but I was hoping coming to the UK that the knowledge, the Premier League knowledge, the FPL knowledge can rub off on me. We did all right last week. It's like anything, Kay, we mentioned things when it went well. If it didn't, we're like, no, nothing happened. So hopefully this week, when we look ahead to teams with good fixtures coming up, it's a popular category in the FPL community. But I've gone a step further and I'm trying to provide you with one or two players from the teams with good upcoming fixtures.
Yeah, well, this is really interesting. And I don't mind you blowing your own trumpet. You should, because it gives everybody reason to continue listening and taking your advice on this. So as you mentioned, we're going further ahead. It's the next 5 fixtures for 6 teams that actually have a decent run of games coming up. So let's begin with Liverpool then. The run ahead for them. Do you want to go through the run ahead for them?
Yeah, they've got 3 home games, 2 away. Southampton, Villa and Newcastle at Anfield, Everton and Wolves away. I think they're fixture proof. It doesn't really matter who they've got. For me, they're one of the teams that are fixture proof. Now, there's 2 players that probably most people have, right? So that's not a kind of crystal ball moment. Mo Salah, Trent, Alexander-Arnold. I think you're playing catch-up if you don't have those 2. The third one, and this is where I'm trying to fit this guy in this week, with Roberto Firmino still out, Diogo Jota is probably one of the bargains of the whole game. But how do you get him in? If you've already got Salah, some people have got another big price midfielder. I've got Son, but they've got good fixtures. We'll get to them later. So how do I get Diogo Jota in? If you can, get him in, because I think with Firmino out, he's playing as the main striker for one of the best teams in the league, and he's such a cheap price. That's a no-brainer for me. But how do you get him in?
How do you get him in? Well, you'll have to have a little look at moving some pieces around. Chelsea are next on the list. They've got Manchester United at home this weekend, Watford away, West Ham away, and then Leeds and Everton both at home. So which players are you looking at? So
when I wrote this, I was kind of still on my way over from the States. It's a whistle-stop tour. And I included Ben Chilwell in there. Now, obviously, with the Champions League game on Tuesday night and the injury, we don't know at the time of recording, this is Wednesday, if he's going to be available or not. The likelihood is, if he's not, that Marcus Alonso is going to be in. So there's a kind of asterisk there. I would go with Ben Chilwell if he's going to be fit. I think it's important that you have at least one Chelsea fullback, wingback, whatever way they're playing. But here's an idea for you, because most people have got one Chelsea fullback by now, and if they haven't, they're probably likely to get it. You're going to steal a march on them if you have 2. So why not have 3? Mendy, the goalkeeper, as well. Because if they get clean sheets and he's playing, he gets it too. If you get a silly game like you got a couple of weeks ago when they conceded a goal in a 1-1 draw at home, and that screws everything, it's unfortunate. But when you get a clean sheet, you've got 3 of them. So if you can afford to, maybe downgrade from Son to Jota and then spend up. Try and get 3 Chelsea defenders. Big gamble, though. But I like those fixtures coming up.
What can you tell us about Man City then? Because I know that's one of the teams on the list.
West Ham, Wolves and Leeds are the 3 home games. In between them, they've got Villa and Watford. Now, I've owned Joao Cancelo for a while. I love him because he gets forward. And that assist at the weekend was just, it was filthy, as the kids say, whatever that means. But the interesting thing I found with this, I always try and find for you guys something that is not as obvious as, oh, why don't you pick Mohamed Salah and captain him this week? Look, any idiot could do that. This idiot seems to have found another way in for a low-owned player, Bernardo Silva. He's returned in 4 of his last 5 games with either goals or assists. Midfielder, so he gets points for 1 point extra for a clean sheet. He's played 90 minutes in all of those 5 games, and he's only 7.2 million, and his ownership is less than 10%. So I think that could be someone. There's a lot of mid-priced midfielders out there that are worth, I think their value for money is phenomenal. So Bernardo Silva seems to be, after a slow start, flavour of the month at Man City.
Okay, just a couple of players with the next team, Spurs, who've got Burnley away, Brentford at home, Norwich at home, and then Brighton and Leicester away. Those 2 players, Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane.
You say it so much better than me. So, yeah, the Spanish fullback, wing-back, they kind of changed the tactics at half-time the weekend or whenever they last played. I don't know if I'm US time, UK time, or whatever. So he got forward a lot more in the second half, Reguilón. So he's someone who, I know he scored and he didn't keep a clean sheet, but if he's bombing forward and putting crosses in, he's one. The other one is contentious because it's Harry Kane and he's a lot of money. If he comes good, there'll be so many people trying to get on the bandwagon, trying to get on the Harry Kane train. It's the same with Son to an extent, although he's higher owned. I like Reguilón, but Harry Kane, if you can afford him, and there's a lot of money to be saved in midfield with value. So maybe Harry Kane, because you don't want to be the person that's like, I wish I'd got him in earlier. If he hits a hat-trick at Burnley or then goes and scores 3 against Brentford. But if he doesn't score, you're like, thankfully I didn't get him in. Your choice.
Well, so there's the 2 players I said there. With the other North London club, you've just picked one player. It's Emile-Smith Rowe. Why just the one? And is that to do with the fixtures that are coming up?
Not so much. I mean, these are the 6 teams that I've picked who I like their fixtures. Newcastle at home, Man United away. I don't think it's as tough right now as it used to be because of everything that's going on there. Everton away, again, they can be good, they can be bad. And then Southampton and West Ham at home. So I think he's nailed on. I love Aubameyang, but he doesn't give you the returns that he used to when, if anyone played it back in the day when Borussia Dortmund, when he was there. I love Kieran Tierney, but he's been injured. Tomiyasu isn't getting forward as much. There are bargains with the Arsenal team, but Emile-Smith Rowe, he's returned in quite a few recently. He's among the goals, he's getting assists as well, and he's cheap. So I'm trying to provide you with plenty cheap options, so maybe you could afford someone like a Harry Kane or someone more expensive than that.
You talk about cheap options. The last team on the list is Crystal Palace, and there's a few players here, 3 players. Is that because there are some bargains to be had there? Yeah,
and they're differentials. It's easy to talk about the people that are owned by 20+%, 30+%, but these are the ones that are the differential makers. These are the difference makers, the differentials whereby if they hit, then you could really do well. Now, one of them isn't so. He was a differential. He's on loan from Chelsea, and he's had a wonderful season. Conor Gallagher. And just because he's not got a sexy name or he plays for Crystal Palace, this is where you get your green arrows. This is where you shoot up the table when he does well. To an extent, because he's becoming more and more popular. He's gone up in price exponentially recently. So the other 2 I've gone with, and I love Conor Gallagher. Just get on him quick because his price keeps going up. Wilfried Zaha, for me, is their talisman. And I know Benteke's been among the goals, and Odsonne Edouard, when he signed, scored as well. But Wilfried Zaha is the kind of, he makes them tick. And he's well priced in fantasy, but he's frustrating to own. I'll not lie about that. I've had him. I've let go of him. I wanted him back. But on any day, especially, you look at the games that they've got up, Kay. Villa at home, but it's like Leeds away and Manchester United away. They've gone to City and won. So I'm not saying they're fixture proof, but don't be put off by someone just because they've got a game at Old Trafford or a game at Leeds or something like that. The other one, in addition to Gallagher and in addition to Wilfried Zaha, is a player that hardly anybody has in their team. But he's up there as far as recent form is concerned, and he's done all right. He's a threat from set plays. His name's Joachim Andersen, and just because he plays for Palace and he's called Joachim Andersen, people kind of look for bigger names, people they may have heard of or whatever. These are the ones that do well for you. We're looking for that kind of needle in the haystack, that gem, that diamond in the rough, and any more cliches that you wish. Maybe Joachim Andersen could be that one this week, like Max Cornet was for us last week.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.